Hey, what's up everybody? You're watching Tech.net, and in this video, let's take a look at what is formulas and functions in Excel and how to use them. You must have gone through some of the basic calculations in your school days, back in the days when you used to save a few cents and sum them up to have a first dollar with you. Or remember having the first pizza party with friends and splitting up the bill equally among all of your friends? Similarly, you can use Excel to do some of the calculations just like you do on a calculator. In fact, you can do much more than what you can do on a calculator. Excel has standard operators built in, and Excel uses these operators to do the calculations. For example, it uses a plus sign for addition, minus for subtraction, forward slash for division, and an asterisk for multiplication. When using calculators, you must have done the basic calculation of addition as 2 plus 2 equals, and then get the result value as 4. But in Excel, you should always begin with an equal sign and then pass the numbers. Equal sign is very important to start using formulas in Excel. Excel identifies that you're writing a formula only if you start your formula with an equal sign. Let us see some of the examples to understand this better. I have two values on my screen and I would want to do some of the basic calculations using them. To start with, let's add these two numbers and see what is the sum of these two numbers. To do this, as we discussed earlier, let's start entering the formula with a equal sign and then type the formula as H4 plus I4 and hit enter. As you can see, Excel did the calculation of addition of two numbers supplied and gave us the output value. Similarly, to subtract these two numbers, we would just want to supply the same formula as equals I4 minus H4 and hit enter. Excel would do the calculation and provide the output in the same cell as it did before. To multiply the values, we will have to supply the formula as equals H4 asterisk I4 and hit enter, which will now multiply the values and then provide the output. In the same way, to divide the two values, let us supply the formula as equals I4 forward slash H4 and hit enter, which now divides the two values. One of the advantage with Excel is, since the values are defined based on the cell references, not by the actual numbers, if you want the calculations for a different set of values, you can just go ahead and revise the values in cell H4 and I4 to get the revised calculations. For example, if I supply H4 with 3 and I4 with 6, the calculation will also get refreshed to show the revised output based on the values supplied. We have now understood how to do some of the basic calculations using formulas in Excel. Now, let us try to understand how to write the formula when there are more than two values needed to be supplied. To understand this, let's use some of the basic functions in Excel. We now have four values using which we will learn the basic functions in Excel. To start with, let's assume you are needed to add up all the four values. As we discussed earlier, we can supply the cell references of all the four and hit enter. But this will definitely not be an efficient way when the data size is very huge. To make the process more efficient, let's start to use the function called sum, which adds up all the values within the range specified. To use sum, let's start with the equal sign and then type SUM and select sum from the list that appears below the cell. After selecting sum, as you can see from the tooltip window that we are expected to supply number 1, number 2, number 3 and so on. You can either supply each numbers manually, which in our case is not very efficient, right? Or you can select the complete range of values that needs to be added at one shot, and after selecting the range of values, close the bracket and hit enter. As you can see, Excel used sum function to add up all the values that were passed in the range of cells. Similarly, if you want to see the count of cells in a range, you can make use of count function in Excel. To use count function, let's again start by typing an equal sign and then type COUNT and select count from the list that appears below the cell and select the range for which you want to count the cells. After selecting the range of values, close bracket and hit enter. Now if you want to see the minimum value of the entire range of cell, you can make use of the function called min. To use min function, let's again start typing equal sign and then type MIN and select min from the list that appears below the cell and select the range out of which we would like to see the minimum value. After selecting the range, close the bracket and hit enter. Similarly, to see what is the maximum value in the entire range of cells, use max function. This will now show the maximum value out of all the values supplied in the range of cells. Finally, if you want to check out what is the average of all values in the range of cell, you may use average function to get the average of all the values supplied. With this, you are now aware of how to use formulas and functions and to do some of the basic calculations in Excel. We hope you learned something new today. Thank you for watching the video. Please do like the video, share with your friends and subscribe to our channel for more such contents in the future.